another ship straight ahead of us.
We'll go. Like up to.
Hello.
Wow, look at that thing. What is that thing?
Hello. Yo, they got a fucking awning over their couch.
Yeah, damn.
Yo, where do we get that?
Yeah, we need one of those.
It's a cannon protector. It protects us from flying cannons.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Cannons came for me just yesterday. It saved my life.
My.
I like
love it.
Is it okay if I can park?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We're just stopping by. Saw some new stuff here.
Ooh, all right.
Oh, Boggert, I'm going to sleep. It's snowing. I'm so sorry. I gotta sleep.
Oh, hi, Norman. Yes, you take your rest.
You want me to move my boat out of your way?
No, you'll be fine. Did Elias get you the letter?
Yes, yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I got everything. I love you guys, alright? You're gonna
Love
be very
you.
popular. I hope you show everybody your stuff, because you got a lot of fans here tonight.
Oh,
Everybody get back on board and then we'll...
right, love you.
What? Do you want me to move my boat, or can I sleep here? I can move if you want.
Ah, you sleep there, it's fine.
Thank you.
This sounds fun.
I'll let him know if he doesn't acknowledge.
We're still missing one. I think we're missing one, right? We had 17.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Want me to go check if there's anybody running around?
Anything?
No, I can't find a good anchor.
Alright, well, we just...
Oh, I'm gonna move my little boat out of the way,
Ivan!
so you can anchor here. Everyone's waiting on you two. I'll just sail around the corner. I'll come over and see you tomorrow. All right?
Alright, you're fine there. We'll just move around.
You worked so hard to get this. You deserve this.
Oh, no.
Red Boggert.
Getting a little seasick.
Don't scrape the paint on anything. Just angle it, black it in there. We're fine, we're fine, we'll get it.
Hello.
Hello, Alice.
Hello.
Mm,
It got busy.
it looked like it, yeah.
There's some casino people here that said that you were going to give them a tour.
Oh, thought we were going to go to the casino and wager a hat.
Well,
Oh.
I don't know. You'll have to talk to him.
Oh, there's Larry with an H.
How are we doing there, Boggert?
Doing well. I was wanting to check out the casino. We still have a hat wager.
Aye, we do. We also wanted to check out the museum.
Ah, okay. Boggett be with us shortly. So maybe we can check out the casino.
Okay. Yep. In that museum, or is it? I know it's after office hours, but I figured if we ask nicely and slip some coin, maybe you would open.
Yes. Let's talk to Boggett about that.
I don't know how long that is, but most of our crew is awake now.
Yes. Usually the hour. The tour takes about an hour. Boggett, you remember Larry with an H?
Oh yeah, there's an H.
Hey, Boggert.
Hello.
Hello. You've changed your hat.
Oh, I saw y'all down there at the races.
Oh, hello. Now nice to see you.
I'm glad the priest didn't catch you up under his robe.
Is that what he was doing? Catching
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
Should have seen what was in his ship, man.
whole collection under the end of the rope.
Oh.
He was a jockey.
The rumor has it he didn't even walk, just people carried him.
Oh, that could be. Could be a little horse under there walking around. He's just riding.
Yeah.
I don't think there was enough jumping. I might not have been a horse.
Yeah, it wasn't jumping. Hi, we came down to see the museum.
Oh, and we learned there's an art gallery here, so we're gonna see that as well.
Ooh, all right.
If you want to, you could probably go check out the art gallery. I need to turn on a couple of candles inside the museum.
All right, man.
Sounds good.
Tour will take about an hour and a half if you have the time.
Does everyone have an hour and a half?
It'll be worth it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I can feel it.
Right, we'll do it.
Okay. Awesome.
Do. Sleep is okay. Oops. Be right back, chat. Going to take a quick break. Be right back. I'm going to go think about things for a second.
Okay, let me know if you want me to go get them.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Well, mine's a print, so.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, you bought that one, Finn.
Ah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, I'm ready.
Oh? You're going to get a painting done, Larry?
Yep. Can you get me a maple leaf?
You just chilling?
A pedal?
Yeah, man. I had to write down some stuff.
Oh,
Or a
yeah, okay.
statue?
I'll leave you
hide
alone if you
behind
want to
me?
keep writing your
Oh,
journal.
I
Maybe.
finished. Just had to take a
Okay.
note of what we're doing.
Oh, did someone lose their pants
Right,
in
I
the
was
Picking
casino?
that wall up.
I bought the cow poster.
Oh,
Oh, good.
right. How much is the portraits?
Is it just gonna be you in it?
If you want to be in it too, you could join, I guess.
You
No, I just meant
maple
like.
leaves?
No, I'm just saying that like the more people are in it, the more it's gonna cost.
But just me.
Okay. I can probably do a unique portrait for let's say 20 silver.
Done.
Oh, I think she should be in it too. It's like
No.
a signature, but she's in the background being like, hello, oh, I did this portrait, hello.
I'm not the
gonna-
best at self portraits.
Then
His
maybe
peers
not.
Right. I'll bring you the coin after the tour.
Okay. I do just need a few minutes to take some reference pictures or sketches.
See that brown on the back of my sweater?
Uh-huh.
Looks like a butt crack. Well, you make wood with 2 sticks, but you can make fire with 2 sticks. It's like
Getting foggier by the minute.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Not again. Poor Elias. Not bad. And Mistro, and make sure you get them all. There was you don't want to be remembered for leaving one plank a different color.
Oh, I was just playing around with the colours, for the fun of it.
We saw one railing over at that town. It wasn't painted at all. That's the one thing I'm probably going to remember most about that town.
Oh, I didn't notice. Speaking of, funny enough, I did talk to them about the casino ship, and apparently it left without telling anyone. But isn't that the casino ship right there?
Yes, they're getting ready to do a tour. They showed up here.
Oh, well, that's good timing, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess.
And have you been on a tour yet?
No, so I think I'll join in, actually.
Okay.
What did you do?
Looks like Tansy's making some coin as well, which is good.
Yes, she's drawing the picture of Larry with an H.
Oh. Interesting.
Right. I don't think we're ready.
Okay, all the candles are turned on.
Oh, Shrimp, don't crouch while carrying someone.
Oh, I got confused. I
They'll
thought
wake
it was
up in the
crouch.
floor.
I thought it was crouch while carrying them. Good thing you cleared that one up.
Okay, well, we can head over.
This is just my child. Do not question it. You ate so good for me today.
They're coming, Elias.
I think I'm ready.
Show them your teeth. Just give them a nice big pearly white smile.
fucking triangles.
Oh.
Oh, you're employee of the month.
Elias is Employee of the Month here at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. He's also achieved Employee of the Month next month for saving me from the cannonballs the other day with a nice... Oh. He had a nice awning built over our sofa so that I didn't have to worry about it.
Incredible, Elias.
This motherfucker.
Good job.
Congratulations on Employee of the Month this month and next month.
Thank you.
He lives here now.
It's fine.
Welcome to the BoggOdd Oddities Museum. Someone will be with you shortly.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Elias.
See why you're employee of the month. That was really well delivered.
Alright, is everyone ready to begin?
I see a couple of more people running.
Alright, 2 more.
Oh, what a lovely couch.
Oh, giving Larry the little massage rub.
Yeah,
Don't touch me.
I'm a cat.
Don't touch me.
You have to meow.
Oh, yeah, I heard there's defensive reflexes that he has.
If your friend wakes up, I can bring him to you in the tour.
Perfect.
How much would you pay for him, straight up?
You can
Can't
sell
sell
him.
him.
You
Can't
can't
sell
sell
Allegedly.
him.
He heals
What are
me.
you doing?
Oh,
A real
okay.
person or a clockwork person?
Are you a clockwork person?
Does
He's
he
a
have
person.
anything on his back?
A person?
Just a person.
How many oddities will you give us for Colton?
None. We don't
I
have
think
that
he is
for
an
oddities.
oddity.
The oddities are used as a warning. We can't give them away.
Oddity.
We want to have them to warn
Right.
people.
Then he's not for
We
sale,
don't-
he's our friend. We would never sell him. Unless you have a lot of gold, then we might.
Not a clockwork. A real person.
We don't make money here at the museum, so we only accept donations.
Oh, I got a donation. It's called Sesame.
Oh,
He can donate half of his limb.
I think you guys would really like him.
Oh, he's an oddity. He's
Yeah.
I think,
massive.
I think we might be ready to
okay.
start here shortly.
Wait, are we talking oddities
We
or
will never
oddities?
sell Colton. He's our great friend. Right, everybody?
Yeah. Fuck
Like
that
the
shit.
whole thing.
No matter how much you offer
Yeah,
us,
I
we
wouldn't
won't
sell him.
sell
I
him.
would give him away instead.
Are we ready or are we waiting on anyone at all?
I think
Okay.
we're. Yeah, what?
Did you hear what Finn said?
No.
BoggOdd Oddities. You fit right in.
Yeah.
His music.
Oddities.
Alright. Leave your preconceived notions of the normal world at this very threshold, and enter the world of the mysterious, the unusual, and the odd at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. By entering the museum, you agree management not responsible for any and all incidents herein, including but not limited to falling, tripping, plunging into wells or graves, and changing of hair color. Right this way.
Please step lively into the next chamber.
Oh, you can go first, E-Brig.
What if I like my hair color?
Our tour begins here on your right, just as you enter the museum.
Watch your hat, Larry.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh.
Jeez.
Alright, is everyone in? If you're not here, say you're not here.
Everyone's
I think we're all good, man.
Right, at the blazing hot tropical Freeport, there's still a quiet specialty cheese shop at the end of an alley. You're probably questioning, is it appropriate to locate a cheese shop in the melting heat? The answer, no. Not because of the heat, however. It was the feral cats. The cats had taken to begging at the cheese shop, and as patrons were leaving, they would kindly drop a crumb or two, leaving the cats to wait for the next patron. Eventually, the roof's support beams began to groan and pop under the weight of waiting cats. The shop owner attempted to shoo them away at first, but then realized the cats would not touch the crumbs of the most pungent cheeses. A patron remarked, "It is so hot today, the stone walls are almost sizzling." As the patron rounded the corner, the shop owner sprang into action and, gathering the most pungent cheeses, pressed them into the hot wall, where they melted, sticking them on. It really did work. To the cats, the stench of the cheese was so intense that the cats fled to the far side of the island. The shop owner rested well that evening, until suddenly the roof supports began to groan and creak again. Running out into the dark to chase the cats off the bowing roof, the shop owner caught a glimpse of them through the moonlight. The cats first turned their eyes, and then their beaks, toward the shop owner. It is then the shop owner realized the roof was covered not in cats, but in starving, hungry vultures.
You're welcome to smell the wall if you like. To smell the cheese if you like.
I'm having trouble leaving behind my preconceived notions.
So it continues just around the corner to your right. The Great Northern Factory disaster took place on a particularly cold, dark, rainy evening. The main source of heat in the frozen north was a giant fireplace located below the smokestack here in front of us. The factory backed up to a large rock mountain, and the entrance to a great coal mine was built down off of the factory into the depths of the mountain. The top of the mountain was a known habitat for an assortment of different animals. The employees of the factory found a particularly large snake roasting on the coals late one afternoon and proceeded to prepare it for the dinner pot. It was not unusual for someone to bring whatever they had to share, although they could not determine who had brought the snake. They made a feast of the snake and went back to work. As the evening grew colder and darker, they placed more and more coal onto the fire. What no one realized is that the snake deliciously roasting on the fire had chased a rather plump sheep off of the mountains. The snake and the sheep both fell over the edge and landed on top of the smokestack. The snake plunged further down into the coals below, but the sheep was wedged in the smokestack high above the factory. The toxic smoke had already weakened most of the workers to the point they could not get out by the time the panic began. All but 3 workers were killed in the tragedy. The death toll was said to be near 458 lives, and it would remain the largest number of people killed by a single sheep for at least 2 more decades.
Oh.
I got chills from that one.
Yeah.
Badass sheep.
Yeah, I have more respect for sheep now.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure I don't bring any scissors near one of them again.
No, they're dangerous. Before you here is a certified giraffe examination chair. It's been placed here as a public service by the Giraffe Handlers Association. When a giraffe needs to be examined for multiple reasons, it is much easier to inspect the giraffe from closer to their height. The doctor will climb up to the chair, and the giraffe will be brought closer for inspection purposes. What type of inspections, you may ask? One purpose is to see whether the giraffe has the giraffe-like teeth, or the less common human-like teeth, of course. But a far more common reason is to see if the ears have been laid with spider eggs again. Giraffe ears are known to be the perfect habitat for spider eggs. Laying the eggs in the giraffe's warm ear hairs, they lie forgotten until the time comes for the hatching. If you have giraffes tame or wild near your home, be sure that they are not shaking their heads frequently. This is the first sign that spider egg laying has occurred. If your giraffe's ears are infested with spider eggs, the time will come that they will hatch, and the giraffe's head shaking will deposit the hatchlings around and throughout your home.
Oh.
Alright, I'm murdering Girth when we get home.
I told you that. Oh, no.
Shit.
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was the spiders. It was the spider story. I got all anxious.
Yes.
Here's a warning. It's all warnings.
The other warning I'd like to give is that if you do see a spider, it's probably already seen you a mile away and started running towards you. So
There's a lot of eyes on the spider. They can see a lot of stuff.
Well, they sure can. I remember the one
This
time
way.
I saw 8 dozen pairs of eyes looking at me.
I don't like it. Yeah, we noticed the spiders all travel in a large group. They don't like to be alone. Right, is everyone here? In a far-off kingdom, a rotten king reigned supreme. He was known to frequently decide that he had been slighted and to place people in prison to be punished or worse. The king unexpectedly ordered a particularly complicated feast from his chef Arthur in the middle of the night. The chef and the kitchen staff worked frantically, as tired as they were, to create a culinary masterpiece. The feast was a triumph, and the king later sent word to see if he may speak with the chef. Word arrived very early the next morning. The king would be to the kitchens within the hour, and the kitchen's staff readied themselves for his visit. The king arrived with his guards, and he quietly toured the kitchens as he thoroughly inspected many things. Nothing was said, and the king looked at his guards as he approached the exit and nodded. The king's guards proceeded to destroy the kitchen's pots, pans, and kitchen tools. The guards turned to the chef and said, "King would like you to know he is displeased with last night's feast. You forgot to serve sea salt instead of salt with his meal." The chef was aghast. He knew he had served the sea salt. He had prepared it himself. He only said "aye" before he was cut off, and he was told he was to be removed from the king's staff and he would be placed in the prisons to await his punishment. The king felt assured mistakes would no longer be made in his kitchen, and as a test, a few weeks later, he had a new feast prepared for the opening of the night's tournament. At the end of the night, a victorious knight stood remaining. The king was so unhappy because he felt he was slighted again, and his favorite knight did not win, so he rushed the winning knight with a dagger in his hand. The knight flicked away the dagger and gave the king what was intended for the knight. The king now removed from life and power, the knight made their way to the throne and was seated. The shocked crowd dropped the facade of reverence for the old king and warmly cheered a new powerful leader. The guards, also shocked but no longer hiding their contempt for the rotten king, said, "All hail the new king," to which the entrant removed their helmet and said, "Queen." "All hail the new queen," said the guards. "What would you have us do, your majesty?" they asked. "Firstly, bring me Arthur, the chef from the prisons." Arthur approached the new queen and he quietly asked, "Daughter, what has happened? And are those my pots and pans you are wearing?" "It's time to explain it all, father," she said. "They sent them to me at the blacksmith shop for repair. They didn't know I was your daughter." She smiled pleasantly at her father as they waved toward the crowd over the tournament field and the cold dead body of the former king. "You always said that your pots and pans would bring us good fortune, father. You just didn't know how right you were."
Thanks for the stretch.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Wasn't the cook beheaded in the kitchen before he was thrown in the jail with his head off of him?
That was a good one.
Before we go into the next room, do not panic. Everything is under control. There is definitely not a fire in the next room.
No, it's only fire that looks like fire. Everything is fine.
Oh.
On a roasting hot desert island, it rarely rained. House fires were happening frequently. To help combat the fires, the residents used what they had to craft 2 fire carts. These carts, each pulled by the best rhinosaur the island could breed, were filled with water and pulled from location to location. Raspberry the monkey, found wandering an island used as a turtle habitat, was a pet of the head of the fire cart haulers. Out on one of their first patrols, they discovered something unusual. Raspberry had previously been trained to pull a cart. They decided, given his insistence he be handed the reins, Raspberry would be trained to drive the rhinosaur of cart number 2. This worked more than well. Raspberry was already a complete natural at cart handling, needing no instruction at all. They even crafted a small seat just for him. This allowed the others to focus more on the fires, and months passed with the carts racing to and from the fires, Raspberry excitedly guiding the carts all the way. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult morning of fighting a long series of fires, the bell rang again. It was time to ready the carts, and Raspberry couldn't be located. The head of the fire cart haulers went to Raspberry's room and found the monkey asleep in bed. Knowing the poor creature must be exhausted after the morning that they had had, they had another member of the fire cart haulers pull the reins instead. They left without poor tired Raspberry and headed to the fire. Along the way, they spotted an unreported house fire and slowed cart number 2 to put water on it before catching back up to cart number 1. While spraying the house, the front door burst open and a soaking wet Raspberry, extinguished torch in hand, emerged. Not believing that Raspberry could be both asleep and at the scene of the fire, his bed was checked. Neatly shaped and arranged was a pair of trousers made to look like a sleeping Raspberry the monkey. Raspberry was wise at a great many things, cart hauling and deception being some of his greatest talents. He was returned to the offices of the Turtle Sanctuary where he was found, so he could retire from his very busy life. The fire stopped overnight, and the fire cart haulers were quiet until one afternoon. A flare was fired, and a representative of a neighboring island had arrived wanting advice on fire carts. You see, they had been plagued with fires recently, and they also needed a small seed in front, as they had the oddest thing, a monkey who knew how to drive a cart.
Oh,
I knew I
who's
didn't like
raspberry?
monkeys.
I know. Yep. Goddamn.
So warm.
So your monkeys were cursed.
Come to the next area. Be careful not to fall into the pit.
That's water. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Oh. Is it water?
Ah.
Oh yeah, I committed now.
Are
So
you sure it's
You
water?
should have waited till she told the story. It might be cursed water or something.
well, I'm a cursed
Is there a
Baptist.
Is there a doctor to keep an eye on him?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
there goes Larry.
Yeah.
It's relieving, man.
You guys, you need to stop it. Oh, watch out.
I'm a
This is-
dragon nightman.
This is probably going to be as bad as the rat incident.
All right.
I'm
This
gonna
is
bad
not
as
a
the
tavern.
seawater incident.
Shh,
There's
she's
stuff
telling a
coughing.
story.
Sorry.
No, this is not a tavern filled with delicious libations. In fact, if you had been here 50 years ago, you'd be dead. It wasn't unusual a long time ago to place additives into your spirits to give them an interesting afternote, be it bitter, sweet, or bittersweet. It was an unusually crowded evening the night before and would be again at a combination inn and tavern. The tavern keep was too busy to go for the ingredients for a top note to add to the drink for the evening. The tavern keep's sibling was sent to pick up the rare, delicious, sweet green ingredient, magistine. The herbologist, however, was also out, and in the stead their apprentice was working. The assistant herbologist mistook the requested magistine for the more common pest remover maggot stem. Nearly identical in both appearance and flavor, coupled with the unfortunate similarity in name, the switch was made. The maggot stem was delivered to the tavern and used to give the libations their signature sweetness. As is custom with a spirit house attached to overnight accommodations, the drinks poured heavily and quickly. The hallucinations began an hour into the evening, and the vomiting began shortly thereafter. Ingestion of maggot stem is said to produce hallucinations such as liquid running down the walls, inanimate objects breathing, skies filled with flying animals, and the mistaking of human form for animal. The chaos of the visions, coupled with the vomiting, began a putrid battle inside the tavern, where all fought for their very lives. Any who made it outside were driven back in by the visions in the sky. Those victors who did survive the vomitous battle were said to have lain unconscious on these very floorboards until their hearts slowed to death.
Damn, I need to write that one down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if you'll cast your eyes across the hallway from us here, I won't try to come over there, but I'll tell you all about it. You've been to a hot, humid, tropical island. You know all too well the heat can be unrelenting. 2 elderly brothers were looking for their lost goat near their home when they stumbled upon something, a very large abandoned well. The well had run low of water, but on the inside had a beautiful pool at the bottom. The brothers knelt beside the lid, and when they opened it down, they could feel the cool, refreshing air blow past them. They thought about it and discussed the well the remainder of the day and night. They woke the next day, and they had a plan. They'd put a ladder down the well and see what was inside. They slipped from the final ladder rung into the cool, dark water and enjoyed the most luxuriously pleasant soaking neck-high, perfectly chilled water. The water drained a bit more over time, and instead of floating, they had to kneel or sit on the bottom of the well. This did not suit the aging frames, and they began to talk of a new plan. It was decided to make the well more comfortable. They would move some furniture inside using ropes and the goat, who was found in time, to lower some things down from the hatch above. This would be their final plan. Their friend, who knew of the well, and having not seen the brothers for some time, began to worry and look for them. When they approached the well, they could already tell something was wrong. You see, the scent of mold and mildew and end of life met their friend before the well. For as they were soaking in the cool, damp richness of the well, their furniture was as well. The introduction of furniture began a growth of mold and mildew and rot that first tainted the well and then outright poisoned it. As the furniture was mildew and molding from the outside, the cool, damp, dark back of the chairs was growing a deadly fungus. Before that fungus was discovered, it had already begun to emit toxic spores, which filled the well and the lungs of the 2 elderly brothers.
Nice knowing you, Larry.
Yep. Please tell me this isn't the same well.
You are not sleeping with me tonight.
It's not the same well, you're safe. You're fine here. We don't have any
Okay, good.
stuff around. You'll be fine. No, you're fine, Larry. At your back, you're fine. There you go. Pat it out.
Alright. Yeah, she said that was for...
Alright, that brings us to our next exhibit. A new beautiful freeport was too close to a deep ocean trench. The frequent ship traffic to and from the island had angered the residents of the deep waters. Many different creatures made their way from the depths to investigate the new disturbance. The swirling waters mixed warm water down into the formerly cool trench and introduced new detritus down into the depths. Mermaids from the trench grew much angrier. They became a constant menacing presence throughout the waters. To teach their citizens defensive tactics and to protect them against the angry mermaids as well as to ensure people would not fear nearing the profitable Freeport, the Freeport opened a training institute just off the shore. Seen before you are a standard issue training form, as well as a specialized mermaid training form. It was used to teach the citizens techniques to avoid or defend against angry mermaids. The mermaids seemed to realize something was occurring at the Freeport and really began to increase their violence. Eventually, they began to investigate the institute itself. They made their way to the shore side where the training forms were stationed. Instead of damaging the training forms, however, the mermaids began to study them, possibly believing that they could be figures in reverence of themselves. It is believed that they mistook this as a sign that the mermaid was a respected neighbor and led them to stop their attacks completely. Unintentionally, the forms did work to protect the citizens. No one who was trained to defend themselves ever had to, and the mermaid forms were left in the water as a sign of continued mutual respect. Luckily for the Freeport, the mermaids had not witnessed what was used on the training forms. Alright, we can stop for a snack at the midway point here of our tour. We'll double back to here, but just aside from us here is food and beverage available in our food and beverage barrels.
Popcorn. Get your popcorn. Got popcorn in the barrels there. Popcorn. Get your popcorn. There's also some juice in there. Some swilk. Well, you won't know what swilk is, but you're welcome to try a little bit of it.
Good popcorn.
Please don't get close to the exhibit with the bars behind you. It has been known to pull individuals into its contraption. If everyone's ready, Boggett will be proceeding into the next room.
Well, we're going right back over here. We skipped one or two objects. We just had to feed everyone, but we'll be right back over here where we started. We'll go to this one first.
Like I said, next room, and we're in the current room.
We're in the room we left. Makes more sense that way.
Feels different though.
Far beneath a beautiful country estate lies strange fate for those unfortunate enough to have encountered a pair of mad noble women. They had a secret which would have run the blood cold of those in the aristocratic circles they kept themselves in. The mad women had developed an unusual diet preference, you see. Human toenails. Half-hearted soldier, drunken sailor, or sea wench, they preyed upon them all. They went out into the dark night to round up victims. They would wait outside a tavern and dance hall for those inebriated enough not to put up a fight. A bag over the head and about 6 spins around was usually enough to knock even the stoutest person unconscious if they had been plied with enough drink. They would be locked into the chambers here on each side of me, their feet scrubbed, cleaned, and their toenails carefully trimmed so as not to waste an ounce of the precious resource. I know what you're wondering. Why did they not just pull the toenails out at the root? After all, that's the sensible thing to do. Well, the sisters weren't monsters, you see. They were just unusually hungry. So very oddly hungry. Each victim awakened. They were dumped on the outskirts of a town, shoeless, sockless, pants rolled to the knee. But their feet had been beautifully scrubbed, and their toenails had been perfectly trimmed. The sisters were caught when they mistook a pair of sleepy officers for inebriated and were overcome by them, threatening with having their toenails pulled at the root, because it is the sensible thing to do. They confessed to the entire ruse. Afterwards, they fell from grace and out of high society. They had to take on new identities, and they did, working in a wash house, trimming the nails of those who came to bathe there. And thereby, they continued to feed their insane, insatiable, and odd hunger.
Yeah, it has grossed me out so much, I don't even know where to start.
I wanted to clean my feet.
Yeah, bath tonight.
Some people pay good money for it now.
A skilled blacksmith made a fortune on board a ship repairing the old broken wood stoves on a frozen polar region, a fortune he intended to keep. Looking around his ship one day, he realized he had a dozen wood stoves that no one had claimed after they had been repaired. Needing to both remove the extra weight from the ship and also find a more suitable place to keep his treasure safe, he left the polar region and headed to his home on a warm elephant island. He owned a small piece of that island, which included a swamp. The swamp was the home to many horrendous creatures, the least of which were an endless amount of spiders. He knew the perfect location for a hideaway for his treasure was a a well-hidden cavern on the edge of the swamp. You would never see it unless you were about to fall into it. Covered in vines and different types of growth, it was the perfect place, except it was home to thousands of spiders. He knew spiders feared one thing above others, a larger, faster spider. To attempt to stop the spiders from living in the cavern as well as to add an additional shock should any unfortunate soul stumble into the caverns, he carted the old forgotten wood stoves down the darkened mouth of the cavern and created this monstrosity before you. Welding the stoves together, carving a stone plinth from the cavern's rock, he successfully created a spider to frighten the others away, and the other spiders fled in fear, leaving him then now free to place his treasure deep into the delightfully spider-free cavern. He went back to making more and more treasure in the northern seas, and eventually readied himself for a return to his cavern. Upon his return, he was looking forward to his spiderless cavern after having fought his way through innumerable amount of spiders through the swamp. He arrived at the cavern to find it filled, not with spiders, but with elephants. It was bursting at the seams with elephants. They chased him from the entrance all the way back down to his ship, over and over. For you see, the only thing that kept the elephants from the cavern were the spiders. And the only thing that lured them into the cavern was the new multiple-armed scratching post that someone had placed there for them to use.
It's good.
Think. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's you.
Alright. Here is what was once a beautiful, marvelous circus organ. The organ was a modern wonder. It needed no one to play it, and in fact it didn't even have keys. It produced sound through steam, with a series of reused water and stovepipes, and it could play the most beautiful melodies. It was pulled on 3 carts behind 3 elephants as the circus parade rolled through the town. It played all the while and let the residents know the circus was arriving. The circus fell to ruin after the death of the ringmaster and owner. The ringmaster was thrown higher than the high wire act one evening by a pair of elephants looking to escape circus life. The audience, seeing the tragedy unfold, sent out warnings to all they knew. Avoid the circus at risk of peril. The organ was purchased at an auction of items from the circus by a group of ne'er-do-wells who had a plan. They would travel with the reassembled pipe organ port to port, playing friendly melodies for tips throughout the day. And it would quieten as the shops closed and the people headed into their neighboring homes. Then, in the late hours of the evening, they would stoke the fires, the steam heater, until they were raging. The beautiful music produced with gentle steam pressure became a howling, screeching, clangorous noise. It caused residents to flee their homes in terror and horses and animals to batter their stalls, not knowing what beast was capable of such noises. The ne'er-do-wells would slow their fires eventually, but only to issue a proclamation to the townsfolk. The fires would be stoked repeatedly unless the town was able to come up with a predetermined fee to pay the ne'er-do-wells to leave their port in peace. The ne'er-do-wells landed on port as usual late one afternoon. They played their beautiful music for tips till the shops closed and the residents left, and then they waited. When they went to the box on the top deck to get the wood for the fires, instead of the residents being quietly asleep, the entire town was standing row after row, lining the edge of the harbor, staring directly at the vessel. The water was already flowing into the ship by the time the ne'er-do-wells could react. You see, the residents had been made aware of this approaching ship 2 days prior, and they had formed a plan of their very own. The pipe organ was dismantled and trod upon, resulting in the warped, discolored remaining pipes you see before you here today.
Oh.
Oh, yes. All right. That'll take us to the next chamber. If you'll follow me.
Oh.
Be careful.
Not to fall into the open grave.
Back up.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Meow.
Meow.
If you want in there,
Well,
you
you didn't now.
It is a restful spot. It's nice and quiet.
Open beds. It's fine.
Oh, there
Bye,
you go.
boss.
It's nice and...
No!
Anyone have any final words for Larry?
At least you're not going alone. Jim's with you.
You're not going
We're
alone.
going together, man.
You don't have to worry. In the end, you won't be alone. They'll put
Toss your book up so I can sell it to the museum.
somebody in the box with you.
Oh, there we
There's
go.
some flowers. Closest thing that I had.
We say here at the museum, always bury your loved one with a bell so that you know, in case they're not actually dead, they can ring the little bell and you can hear them. But if you bury them with another person, maybe that person can yell and scream if they're still alive down there. That way you
Or
can
make
bury
love.
Oh, there's always a chance of that as well. It's nice and quiet in there. Not
Help me, please.
corrupted or anything.
Oh, God.
You can get out, you just have to take a little run right to the end and jump right when you get there. Ah, there you go, you're out. Alright. Below us here lies the coffin of the final husband of the widow of Shallow Creek. She was called the widow because she had buried 12 husbands. 11 of them were deceased. She begged for help from the townspeople.
Cecilia.
Said she was being haunted by the vengeful ghost of her most recent husband. The widows of the town vowed to help her and formed a group which would sit in the home of the widow while she tried to rest. It was a quick rotation, for you see they all eventually stared straight again into the eyes of the man they used to know. Each night, someone sat with the widow. Just before the skies began to lighten, there was a shuffling behind them. One after another, the widows fled the still, dark, creaking home. Once that group was exhausted, the widow of Shallow Creek still pleaded for help. The young single men were sent next, as they were thought to be less prone to fright. It was the same story, however. They all ran for their lives after they gazed into the eyes of the dead man. The oldest woman in town, not far too frail, asked, "May I go next?" She sat slumped forward, next to the warm fire in a chair. Her eyes were closed, her back to the room. When the ghost appeared, his long, bony fingers reaching, clawing, slid up over the back of the chair and around the woman's frail, thin neck. From outside the home, a blood-curdling scream that chased wolves back into their dens was cut short. The townsfolk, worried for the frail lady, but humoring her, had kept their ears open for her call. A number of them reached the steps of the cabin at the same time. They clambered to the front door and flung it open. Standing tall, over 2 bodies, was the frail old woman. What no one realized is the oldest woman in town was the wisest. Unable to sleep in the cold nights due to her old bones, she would sleep in the warm daylight hours, but every night she would watch the supposedly dead husband of the widow of Shallow Creek creep into house after house in town. You see, as people went to sit with the terrified widow, her very much alive husband was out looting their homes. He would arrive later and bring what he had taken from the helping people and show it to his wife. The oldest woman, however, went prepared with a rolling pin in her sleeve to expose the ruse of the widow of Shallow Creek.
And it is cilantro. It's kind of like you too, though, Eve, because you know you killed your husband.
Didn't kill him.
Yeah, neither did that
Yeah,
lady.
you did, Baskin. Yeah, you did, Carol Baskins.
Fucking Carol.
Brings us to our next exhibit. In a remote cabin, something unusual happened. The owner of the cabin grew older and more tired. As the years were catching up to him, he thought he needed a way to bring some life back to his life. He found a place where he could, for a price, order a tincture, promising to bring just that to him. He placed the order, gave his address, and was told to wait 6 nights, and he would hear a bang on the door. He wasn't to look out for the courier, only to wait quietly on the 6th night. On their arranged night, he patiently waited. A loud bang was heard at the darkest portion of the night. He nearly jumped from his body and realized only then he was still a bit stronger than he realized. He waited a moment and then opened the door and to retrieve a package bound in hides and tied with a large stone. He thought the bottle was unusually shiny until he realized the shine was coming from inside the bottle. He swirled the bottle through his fingers and stared at the cork topper. He thought of a plan and he glanced at the portrait of his loved one. He realized then this bottle may hold more than he bargained for. What if it turned back his aging? Or what if it stopped him from aging completely? Could he decide when he was through with this powerful elixir? He sighed and realized now that he held the power in his hand, what he missed was not his youth. It was what was part of his youth. And that was sadly not returning. Angry mostly at himself, he threw the bottle into the back of the fireplace. It coated the back where the fireplace grew, transformed, and roared like a tiger, and spit flames across the room. Eventually it settled back into a normal-looking fireplace once again. But it left him wondering what magic was in that tincture, and he vowed to himself he would never again try to recapture what was meant to be left in the past. Right? Everyone ready for the next exhibit? A packed freighter named the Sea Slicer sailed through a fog-shrouded sea. It lurched high and low with the crates groaning at its sides. On board amongst the crew stood a mere deckhand. As the ship passed through a shimmer, a mysterious event occurred. Every person, in fact every creature everywhere, disappeared, except for the deckhand. Calling out for anyone else, he realized he was alone. In fear for the crates, the contents, and the ship itself, the deckhand panicked. He did not understand the workings of the ship enough to get it under control, and without a crew to pull the sails and manage the wheel, it seemed like a task that could not be accomplished in an hour. Hello, hello, help, he pleaded, and his plea was heard by the only other thing that inhabited the world. The figure stood before him on the other side of the cabin door, but he could immediately tell was not human. It had no facial features, and in fact it did not have features at all. The ship careened out of control, and just as the figure reached through the doorway, it crashed on the shore of a desolate island. The deckhand was thrown overboard into the water beside the shore. While running from the ship and the figure, the deckhand began to realize he wasn't breathing normally. Every breath he took grew shallower and shallower. Further he made it from the figure, less he could breathe. The world grew darker and darker until he went unconscious. The deckhand awakened to find himself all the way back where the voyage began. But the crew, the ship, and the cargo were never seen again. They say the shimmer figure waits just over the shimmer for its next crew. Will you be the only one it spares? Or will you never be seen again?
Terrifying.
So we're moving here, right, Larry?
We've heard some stories regarding the shimmer figure from our visitors here. We've heard a new story or two as well. Seems that the shimmer figure is able to replicate a crew and a ship when they cross the shimmer. You may cross and find that yourself is waiting for you on the other side, perhaps sleeping. We've also heard that other crew may be from another point in time. You may be meeting someone from your past or your future. We've also heard the shimmer figure steals the youth from one person and gifts it to another one. But why? We do not have these answers, however. Also, be sure to watch your shoulder pets and any pets you may have on board your ship, for the shimmer figure is also very hungry and will take your pets in trade when you cross the shimmer.
I want my youth back.
Creepy as fuck.
I want my youth back. I did not give it to you as a gift.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who's got my youth?
Well, look at you. You obviously took mine and Eve's youth.
You look great to me, man.
I think you took mine too.
Like everybody's.
I was told I was pretty.
Deep in a prison lie a cold, dark, windowless cell. A guard routinely traversed the corridors. One prisoner they had not planned on having and did not know the history of was a magician trained in the art of lock picking. Picking the lock would come easily enough, but getting out of the area was difficult. The cell was at the end of a U-shaped corridor. The prisoner had nothing but time, however, to plan, and they thought while they waited. Day in, day out, they watched the guards, and they finally thought of their plan. The guards would always take the same pathway through the loop, and they realized they could never go towards the guards or they would be seen. But if they could go out ahead of the guards, they may make it out ahead of them. One problem, though, was that the bed would be found empty as they were on their way towards the exit and freedom, and it would raise the alarm bell of the guards. In an effort to fool the guards, they began to put away slices of bread and sausages in their pillowcase. This plan was nearly ruined twice on unplanned laundry days when they had to gorge themselves on all the food that they had stashed away. But finally, a dark, moonless night came, and it was dark enough for the plan to work. They neatly arranged the old bits of bread and sausages and formed a vague figure in the dark, just enough for the guards to see a sleeping body in the bed, and therefore give them time to slip away. The plan went smoothly, and the prisoner escaped perfectly. The guards did eventually discover the ruse, and knowing how the head of the guards would react to this, and knowing that they could not reveal that they had been fooled, they sat down for a most unwanted feast.
You're welcome to step
that's a
forward.
good one.
Ew.
You're welcome to step forward and take a look at the exhibit.
I don't know. Kind of looks like Samuel.
Oh, man.
That's pretty thorough in the detail there. Wow.
And when you're ready, you can come to the dentist office.
Oh, God.
Oh boy. I can already tell I'm not gonna like this one.
Here before us is the interior of the city office of the butcher of Butterfly Lane, as he was later known. Shown on the table before you are the actual tanning tools that he used. He fancied himself a dentist, and he was able to convince the local populace that he was legitimate. Using a plant Known for hallucinogenic properties, he could cause patients to, in essence, mentally leave their bodies while they were tied to the bed here before you. He would then remove all of the teeth of the victim, promising that he would only repair the teeth. It was much easier to tell them afterward all their teeth were bad, and the work that he could not do, he did not have to. Human teeth were a prized and highly valued form of carotenoid, similar to bone, but with a much sturdier structure, once they had been refined properly. The fraudulent dentist would leave his office very early in the day, and that was thought odd by the community, considering how many desperately needed dental work. He had a plan for leaving early. He was tainting the town's water supply with ground-up squid innards. The innards of the squid contained a powerful acid that they used to break down sharp shells that they ingest in their feeding cycle. And even once they had been ground up and dispersed in the water, the innards still had enough acid quality to weaken the teeth of the city dwellers to the point they needed dental work, and supplying the fake dentist with the teeth that he so desired.
Oh, jeez.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
You know, kind of...
This is one of those clockworks, so you have to be careful.
What's that, Boggert?
This is one of those clockworks.
That's a clockwork figure if you haven't seen one before. There's clockworks, and then there's also there are clockworks scattered around that look like real people. They've been painted now to look legitimate. If you're not afraid, we'll introduce you to something unusual about these clockworks on this tour. We have a clockwork with a special that opens, and we can all gaze down into the inner workings of the clockwork and get an eye for what's inside if you want. If you're not afraid.
Yeah, absolutely.
The story of the printing press here before you begins in the polar north. The freighter Frozen Cells was used to deliver supplies to a far-flung polar research base where the Frozen Institute was located. On the slippery top deck of Frozen Cells, a crew member called out eerily, "Who's there?" when they heard voices through the frozen fog. The calling out stopped the other crew in their tracks, and they could hear it too. Voices calling out, but not in sorrow. These voices were calling in song. By the time anyone could raise the alarm, no one wanted to any longer. Below decks, a sleeping crew member, though, who would be on a late shift, was awakened, being slid out of bed and across the sleeping quarters. Just as the crew member made it halfway out the top side of the ship, the sails, sitting untended, whirled and snapped violently through the wind. The heeling of the ship was so intense that the crew members who were not already overboard were thrown overboard. The crew member was awestruck with the scene before them. They had plugged their ears with rolled cotton to stop any sounds from the crew waking them. They were now oblivious to the sounds coming from the ocean, but they knew in an instant what was happening. The crew were under the attack of the siren's song. The masts, weakened by the whirling and forceful snapping, groaned, broke, and gave way. They crashed down through the decks below and damaged the ship in the process. The crew member climbed into a dinghy, lowered it, and looked around as those nearby sickeningly dove underwater and continued to swim down and down into the now still blue abyss. The survivor rowed and rowed in the dinghy for hours in the frozen waters until they reached land. They staggered onto the frosty shores, called out, and collapsed. They had made it to the island of the Frozen Institute, and they would very soon be found. The same cannot be said for the Frozen Cells and the rest of the crew. They drifted down into the frozen depths below. The survivor decided to print a book about that tale of that horrendous day. They used the boards from the dinghy that they survived in to make this printing press behind me. It is said that the sea sirens had placed a curse on that dinghy because they did not get the chance to clear the ocean completely that day. The now cursed printing press behind me can at times call out to someone, asking them, please climb into my gnashing jaws. It is rumored that this printing press eventually devoured the crew member who created it, and we're left wondering, now is it satisfied? Or is it just waiting to strike again?
Is this one of those clockworks you were mentioning?
Yeah, before you, here's a clockwork. Let me finish opening the area. Oh. Seems like the entire clockwork has decided it does not want its secrets revealed today.
Up to the clockwork.
Cross over the water.
Did it walk away?
It did. It's very finicky. It has disappeared somewhere into the bowels of the museum.
Did you see that? Did you see that, Alan? It just walked away.
That makes me feel really safe.
Please come this way.
I hope it's not on our ship.
I have nothing further for the clockwork
Who's
today.
my buddy?
Please
Who's
come.
my buddy? I need a buddy. I'm scared.
Please come stand in front of the double doors.
Stand in front of the doors if you would. If you're brave.
In front
And
of
if I'm
the
not
double
brave,
doors.
can I just walk out the door?
Or just stand behind your buddy.
No, you have to stand there.
I don't have a buddy.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, what the?
No. Too much.
In front of you here stands Hera, the oddity of Itch Meadow Farm. Born during a hurricane, it is believed that she was born mid-air, but the wrong way around. She is now utterly convinced that she is standing the right way up, and we cannot correct her. She does not use her hooves, and instead she drags herself around with her horns. She is able to see berries on the underside of bushes that other animals miss. Her hooves must now be filed down regularly, as she does not wear them down naturally. She produces what her original owners at the farm referred to as the wrong way milk. We here at the museum refer to it as swilk. It is said that by this not hanging down into her udders and cooling, the milk is now able to stay hotter for a longer period of time, and it produces a sweeter, more mature milk with a caramel undertone that is prized over regular milk. You're welcome to try a sample of the swilk today that Boggert has placed before us. You're also welcome to take a closer look at her. If you like, you're welcome to take a step in. Please do not smoke the udders. We've had an incident on other tours.
Door, please. Door.
It's close
I can't breathe.
Do you hear something?
Evacuate. Watch out.
We've closed the door.
There was someone in there.
Oh,
Thank you.
Run for it.
Museum tour.
Oh, God.
I'll be safer in there with a cow than out here at this point. We do have a comment desk if you want to write a comment for us here at the museum. And we have donation boxes outside and inside the museum here if you would like to leave some sort of donation.
Oh, absolutely. This was wonderful. This was so good. So amazing.
Thank you very much. We're very pleased that you enjoyed your tour.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you. We appreciate any and all donations here.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just
Yeah. It got pretty hot in there.
yeah.
But we do hope that you were able to hear some strange, unusual tales, as well as some of the warnings we have here at the museum that you can take with you out on the seas to help keep you safe.
Yeah, I am now adding one more thing to my I'm terrified list. Whales, shimmer shadow creature of doom.
Jack can't take any more of my teeth.
The shimmer figure.
Yeah, no putting
Shrimp stealing my
what is that,
youth.
squid ink in our water.
Oh yeah, you know. Definitely did not take notes on some of that. Nope.
I like my teeth, thank you very much.
I like
Jack.
No squid
Thank you for visiting the BoggOdd Oddities Museum.
Showing
Please return again soon.
Thank you, Elias.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Safe seas to you, and be ready.
Bigger and bigger.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
Safe sails.
Hope this is a lucrative business, Bugger and Boggert.
Hopefully so.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Well,
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you for the tour.
Beware the shimmer. Thank you, Elias.
You're welcome.
What is this?
Anything unusual this time?
Yeah, there's something strange in there.
What? What is it?
A coin pouch of some kind.
They gave me a couple of reviews. I'll give them to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'll put it in the book. Did you look in the chest over there and see the...
Oh, there's some very heavy coin pouches here. They don't look like the regular coin pouch. You want to open one, Elias?
Okay.
Then you open one, Boggert. We'll see what we get. Something unusual, hopefully.
Got about 25 silver and some copper.
Ooh, 25 silver. That's not bad.
I only got like 8 and some copper.
That's not bad either. A little heavier than your regular. Ooh.
It was definitely heavier than the normal ones.
Well, it's unusual looking. It had a different colored bag on the outside.
I'd never seen one before.
Neither have I. It was very strange.
I'll put the coin back in the coffers for the company.
That's where we put it. Well, thank you, Elias. We had a good tour. I'm sorry it was a late one.
You're welcome, and I was up anyway when all those ships kind of started coming in.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to ask those other ships that came in Were they looking for anything in particular?
Well, they stopped in and kind of said, "Where are we?" And I explained that they were in Five Torches, home of the Oddities Museum. Then they wanted to go know about the museum, and then I wanted to tour. And I said that, well, these other people said that Boggert and Boggeth were on their way back, and that maybe they could go on a tour, and then I guess they got impatient or got in a rush and they left, but maybe they'll come back. They got a flyer.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, they come back, hopefully.
Yeah.
They could have gone on a tour with us. We didn't realize people were waiting.
Well, I think they did. I tried to tell them, but it got kind of hectic with a galleon and a schooner and another brigantine and then another brigantine.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we wasn't expecting anybody. We went to the horse races and we were going to go to the casino, but the casino came here.
It looks like it did. They kept telling us at the horse race, wait till the end of the horse race and we'll be able to go to the casino. But then at the horse race, they added 2 more horse races. And I don't think the casino liked it. I don't know. The casino left after that.
Yeah, they kept adding more races and kept dragging it out, and so it was just too long.
Well, that's a shame. Maybe I can go to the casino with you someday.
That would be nice. We're trying ourselves. We thought we would be able to go, but it came to us.
One fella said they were in E2.
All right, we didn't know that. It's good to know.
Norman was here. I think you talked to him.
Yeah, we saw him. I think he moved his ship just a little bit on the other side of the docks where your shipyard is.
I gave him his letter and his clothes, and he told me where he was at, and he's with another company, and he wants to go on a tour, and then that Bob Potato and Mr. Tambourine came by, and we kind of talked and hung out and did some things, and
Okay, that sounds good.
then the ships came, and here we are.
Hope Bob Potato got the ship under control. All those bits and pieces.
Did you put the in the potato? It's just Bob Potato.
No, I just said Bob Potato, not Bob the Potato.
Okay, first name Bob, last name Potato. No,
Bob said that there was a ship that lived near them. They're in Echo 4, and apparently there was some kind of hole on the outside of the ship that everyone could just kind of crawl through.
What in the world? A hole?
A hole?
It's a hole that anybody can kind of wiggle in and get inside the ship.
That's not good. That's not our design. You tell them that's not an Elias design. It's not an Elias original.
I told him that was Mr. Owen's schooner.
That's right.
Excuse me.
Mr. Owen's what?
Oh. Hello, Owen.
What was my schooner?
The Pioneer.
No, definitely not my design. I didn't build it. It was just handed to me, unfortunately.
And he's the proud, I guess, salesperson of the schooner.
I didn't even sell it. I think Elias did.
Well, I kind of started it, but Tansy kind of closed the deal.
She did.
Oh, Timok.
She made the deal. She struck a good deal.
So what did you think of the tour?
I absolutely loved it. It was grand. You did a fantastic job.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we're trying to give out warnings so people don't make mistakes out there.
Right. right. I just deposited some omelets in the food box as I saw there was prawns, and omelets just go really good with prawns for some reason.
Omelets and prawns. Well, thank you.
Almonds.
Sounds like a combination.
Where does almonds come from?
Omelets. Omelets.
Omelets. Oh, not almonds. Oh, okay.
Almonds and prawns. Now it's omelets. And prawns. Got the prawns.
Prawns, yes.
But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just delivering the food. I'll let you folks go back to conversing.
Oh, it's fine. The casino people got nervous when the black sail ship stopped in.
Oh no, I bet they did.
What were the black sail ship here for? What was that about?
Well, they asked where they were, and I told them they were at the town of Five Torches, home of the Oddities Museum. And then they all got interested in the museum and wanted to tour and check the shops, and then they got some flyers. And I said that the other people said that Boggert and Boggett were on their way here, but then they couldn't wait or didn't want to, so they left. But they said they'd come again.
Again.
Did you happen to catch which pirates they were?
They didn't say.
Any names?
Not that I recall.
Did you catch the ship name, perchance?
No, I was a little overwhelmed with 3 or 4 ships of people kind of running around and trying to talk to them.
No problem. I just like to gather this information for reasons, you know. But no, that was a fantastic tour, and I think that everyone that was here for it enjoyed it quite well. And of course, now we know the mystery of where the casino ship ended up going.
It came here before us. It made it here before we did.
Oh, it's a fast ship. Galleons are faster than schooners, I hear.
Ooh, galleons are in fashion now. Schooners are falling from favor.
I didn't get to gamble my hat.
Oh, you didn't? But you're not wearing one right now. You sure someone didn't take it?
Oh, I usually take it off when I go indoors.
Oh, that's probably polite. Sorry, I probably should have done that.
I didn't remove my hat. I have to stuff all my hair up in there if I put it back on.
Well, your hair is awfully red right now, and I just don't understand it.
I told you the shimmer figure steals the youth from one person and gives it to another. I'm a lot younger than you now, Boggert.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you, Boggert? Maybe you're the one that had their youth stolen and handed to me.
I'm still 100 years old, but you're almost 100 years old just by 15 minutes.
I don't know. I feel like I'm 226 years old, but that's just because I've crossed the shimmer so many times.
I was told that you were very spry. I don't know the context, though.
Me? I'm spry. I'm very spry.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this, Mr. Owen. I can still do stuff. I can still get around. Whoa.
Pretty sure I can't even do that.
Like that. I'm still spry. Still got plenty of life in me.
You're what, well?
Yes. Well, I thought so.
Did have a good day at the tracks today. Mr. Owen placed some bets today. Elias.
Yes, I won, well, I originally won roughly 2 gold and then lost, almost to gold. But I still came out ahead, I think.
So, Elias, do you know anything about gambling?
No.
We'll have to take Owen. He's a pretty good gambler, so we'll have to take him to the casino to so he can teach us.
No, I'm not really. I won once, but then I lost twice, so really the odds were against me. You really don't want my advice.
I don't have any advice. I've never placed a bet at all on anything. You don't want my advice.
You didn't place any wagers at the horse track.
No, I was there to observe the first time. It's good to go the first time and see how things go. Do they treat the horses well? Are they giving them a nice bottle of milk after the races? That sort of thing.
Yeah, we went to the race and came back with, what was it, 3 silver?
Yeah, 3 silver.
And so we didn't take any silver with us and came back with 3 silver.
There you go. You won.
That's good.
I found it in the ocean, but we still got 3 silver out of the deal.
I did have to hold my tongue, though, as the lady that lost was one of the lady that was the jockey on one of the horses that lost, which I lost money, was on your tour.
Oh.
No.
Is that the one that you had to put 4 bullets into the horse?
I didn't.
4 bullets, alive.
Yeah, we heard 4 gunshots, and we think someone was shooting a horse.
Owen said, I'm gonna go take care of that horse. And then we heard 4 shots echo out through the place. We all cringed. Stood there by the ring.
Would have been awful to be there and hear it. The screams of the poor horse.
No, 4 shots, not just 1.
And then there was something about having steaks and some nice meat cuttings after that.
Look, I made one comment on whether or not Stanley could cook, horse meat or not. I did go to see about a horse, but I never shot a horse. The bullets were not from me.
Oh, well, we heard them. You no sooner got out of sight than we heard 4 distinct gunshots. You heard them, Tansy, didn't you?
Sure did.
We all did.
We even ducked behind railing like it was going to protect us.
I did. And then I said, you'll see Mr. Owen will show back up now. And sure enough, here comes Mr. Owen after the gunshots.
Yep.
My gun does not shoot in rapid succession like that. I've only got a flintlock. It could not have been me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I wasn't sure, though.
But, if the horse was getting put down, it probably deserved it for how slow it went.
Okay.
Just saying.
They could have, retired somewhere and just ate grass for the rest of his life.
You could have. Give it a choice.
And look, I didn't give it a choice either way. I didn't kill it. I didn't make it live. I'm pretty sure a horse was never shot there.
All right. Oh, whew. Well, the poor jockey. It's terrible what happened to the jockey Elias at the races.
That I can't speak about.
Did they put the jockey down?
They put something down. They were very angry. Someone was. About one of the outcomes of the races.
Uh-oh, that just reminds me of something. Mr. Owen mentioned something about me being a jockey. If I don't perform very well, will you put 4 shots into me?
First off, before this catches on fire and goes places it shouldn't, you know darn well that the jockey did not get shot because the jockey was taking your tour. I just mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a lot story.
Right.
Yeah. They were here. We all saw them. They were here. If anyone asks, we saw the jockey later. After everything, after all the gunshots, we saw them later, okay? You got the story?
Nothing unusual happened.
Oh, it did not. After all the gunshots that we heard, we saw the jockey later. They were on the tour. Everything's fine.
But you're right, you did.
It's fine.
She was here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we need to check with Stanley or Edgar if they're interested in taming horses and breeding them.
It could contain the wild horses, I know. He had two for sale. Two pretty nice wild horses. I don't know. Mr. Owen was not looking for wild. He was looking for some of the racing style horses.
But I heard the thoroughbreds are not very good, so the wild ones are a lot better than the thoroughbreds.
Now, the man that raises the horses near here, where was that located at? Somewhere near here. There's a man, he raises horses, and he told us the wild horse runs faster than the thoroughbred. And we were like, what? What do you mean? And he said, well, there was a tiger showed up and started eating my thoroughbreds, and it ate all of them. We don't know about that story, but that was the story. So now they only have the draft horses and the other kind of horses. Whatever the other kind is, I don't know.
The other kind of slow. I'm pretty sure that the thoroughbreds go much faster. At least that's what I saw there at the races.
Don't know. The man who raises them, he said, no, the wild horses are faster. We'd have to question him on all this.
Yes,
I suppose so.
But you want a horse that has more stamina, just like in that last race, the one that I think you had a wager on. The horse just kind of mared up right there at the finish line.
Stopped running.
Well, I was going to put a wager on that horse, and I'm glad that I didn't, actually.
Ugh.
It would have been so sad if you were only 2 feet from the finish line and you could see it and smell it, but you couldn't get to it.
Do we have to smell it?
Well, the smell of victory.
Yeah.
I suppose. I imagine it was pretty tragic for the poor jockey, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
4 shots, yes.
Well, I think that I am going to retire for the evening.
Yes, I think I'm going to as well. I'm going to run this coin into the company coffers. I got it close to a gold in my pocket.
That is nice return again for another tour. They gave us some pouches. They looked unusual for the other pouches that we find. We keep finding pouches that look like a little coin pouch. This was sort of a blue-colored pouch, and it was a lot heavier than a normal coin pouch. We let Elias open one, and then Boggert opened one. It had a few more coins in there than you're used to seeing.
Yeah, I had 25 coin with some copper in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different kind of coin purse. We don't know where they came from, though. They just dumped them here in the donation box.
Yeah, if I could find where to locate those, I could retire from fishing.
That'd be nice to know, wouldn't it?
But would you really retire from fishing if you keep gambling?
Well, so far, I've won more than I've lost, really. So
ahead. Way far ahead.
Oh, yes.
Of course, Miss Boggert here keeps trying to twist my arm into getting a galleon for some reason. I really don't think you want one of those docked at your ports.
One said that they were faster now. If they get faster, they're going to be in fashion.
Yes, that'll be in fashion. And wouldn't you like to see how many fishing nets that you could put on that sucker?
Oh, imagine. Now, I don't know that you want to have to navigate a galleon, but maybe. You're welcome to.
Well, I did speak with a shipwright about galleons, and apparently they're much more agile than you would think in these waters.
That does sound unusual. I would have thought they would be a lot slower than a schooner, but if they're faster than a schooner, that's something new. Modern times, coming out with new stuff all the time.
Right. And I suppose if I did get one, I could get into commodity trading, buying and selling bulk goods,
That's a possibility. Now, we don't mind one anchored around. We'll find a spot for it. You don't need to worry about if there's enough water in the world to anchor one. We'll find a place for it. If you
I would
want.
have to get rid of the brigantine, though. That would be the only problem. There's some sentimental value there.
Oh, no.
At least there was no sentimental value in the Pioneer.
Definitely. No sentimental value there.
Get out of here. Who cares what we get? We did get salt out of it, which is pretty good trade, and I think that Bob Potato needed a ship, so that was good.
Yes, it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the workshop and...
It's time I'm fading.
Yeah.
Good night.
One knot's on the way to the laundry.
Don't know why it's different. I did it again. I'm tired.
Good. 'Cause I don't know why it's different. 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 Elias made me this little hat here with the flowers on it, and it was to keep the sun off my face while we were at sea, so I would get more youthful looking as time went by. It's working.
I found this hat inside the workshop. I hope it wasn't meant for anyone. I took the liberties of putting it on myself.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Boggert had a
It's
hat
not
today.
Yeah, this is my derby hat.
Oh.
You
want
started me,
yours back?
Boggert.
No,
I thought
you
you were going.
it was just
you
for
were going
the
to rob me for a second or something.
With what? My looks?
I don't know. You seem like a rather swashbuckling type.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, it's spreading. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I need to retire. Stanley, if they tell you any wild stories involving jockeys or horses and me, don't believe them. They're over-exaggerating. They're
Yes.
harmless.
Yes. Owen wants to know if you can carve up horse meat.
Yeah. No.
It's one question.
For an unrelated reason.
It's taken completely out of context. Anyway, a good night to
Was
you all.
it?
Yes, it was.
I only know of one horse there, and I'm sure Boggert
Good
would
night, Owen.
approve of me experimenting on it.
We also saw the jockey today at the tour of the museum, if anyone asks. It's the jockey that was riding the horse. We heard the 4 shots afterwards, but the jockey was here. They were here. Everything was fine.
But the horse wasn't.
He was just asking about how to process horse meat and was it possible. It's probably unrelated at all.
Mm-hmm. Happened to just be after he lost a bet.
We did have a good tour, though. Everyone enjoyed themselves, I do believe. They heard all of the terrible warnings that we had available.
I'm going to let that slide. It seems throughout all of the things I missed today, there's quite a bit of key information there.
Well, now it's time for us to go to sleep so someone else can show up.
Yes.
Oh, but see, that's the thing.
That works.
When you're asleep, not as many people show up.
Yeah. I wonder how that is. But yeah, we pulled into the docks here, and I counted at least 6 or 7 different ships. I had a wild time just trying to find a parking spot.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
a little tricky to anchor in places.
There's a lot of places that don't like an anchor. Soft sand around here.
But Boggett has done some excellent remodeling of the town here. She's made a thoroughfare through the main part here.
We had a lot of horse traffic with carts and horses, and the bull is coming back and forth with loads of stuff, so I thought it'd be easier if you weren't zigzagging, snaking your way through town around stuff. Now you got a straight shot right through. And I moved the notice board over, so when you get to the other end of town, you don't have to go around the notice board to get to the warehouse door. Now you just roll through. Makes it a lot easier.
No, you know, I feel silly now. I didn't even notice this until you mentioned it.
Yeah, we just flipped everything around. Makes it faster. You just roll in and roll the cart straight through the town.
And then Tansy got an extension to her. She's now got a little house area on her bakery side.
Mm-hmm, with a proper bed.
Yeah, a whole new area. We even put a little wall in there so nobody be looking inside. Did I finish that wall?
Oh,
No,
no,
there's still
actually, I
one
was going to ask you about that.
All right, let me get it.
Oh, you don't have to do it right now.
Oh,
Boggert, though.
Tansy.
Everyone can see you dressing. That's not right.
Mr. Derek over at the laundry said he was going to talk to you next time he saw you about if you had a flyer or something. I think he was going to put some up on his travels.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to make some of those up. I'll get to that first thing tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, in case he comes by, and maybe put one up on our board, and then maybe they can grab a copy from the back.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I should do that. I know he was talking about maybe commissioning something too at some point.
All right, Tansy, it looks a little better in there. I put a door in the door frame. If you don't want it, you can just take it out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Boggert, did you take the key and throw it away already?
I did. It's been tossed.
Okay, I'm gonna go close my eyes before the sun rises again.
Oh, it's back. It's time. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night. Sleep well.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, chat, that's end of my stream tonight. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Get out, do some more things. So thank you. Have a good night. Bye now.